Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. So today, as you can tell by the title, we are doing a big fall book haul and
ooh, I like the way that rhymes.
And I didn't buy all these at one time. This is kind of a collective haul. I just realized that I hadn't showed you a lot of books that I was like randomly picking up, whether it was like ordering on Amazon or random pickups from like Barnes & Noble, Half Price Books, things like that. So here I am ready to show you guys all these books. Some of them I have already read and talked to you guys about, so I won't be giving like a full review. I'll just link to the video where I talk about it. But a lot of them I got on other people's recommendations on BookTube, so I haven't read them. Please, 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 if you see something that I'm hauling that I haven't read that you think I should prioritize, let me know in the comments because I'm excited for a lot of these and I want to know which ones are your favorites, which ones would you want to see in vlogs, all that kind of stuff, because I'm just so excited for so many of them, but obviously I can't read like 18 books at one time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the haul. The first few books that I'm going to talk to you guys about are random Amazon orders because I hear about a book and I want to read it so badly that I just have to order it from good old Jeff. The first of those is Wonderland by Jennifer Hillier, and this book, I've been on a journey with this book, okay? I've literally been on a journey. The first time I ordered this or attempted to order this book, I got a message from the Amazon seller. It was like a random Goodwill in like North Carolina. And they were like,
hey, like we just saw that you bought this, but unfortunately somebody else actually clicked like the checkout button on that book like 2 seconds before you. So we're gonna just give it to them.
Which I know that's like right and fair, but something in my heart was just like, please, can I just have it? So I was like, okay, you know, whatever. The order got canceled. I got my money back. And I ordered it again from another Amazon seller. And that seller messaged me the next day and they were like,
hey, wait, you know this is like in French, right? Because I see that like you live in the US and this is the French edition.
So I got my money back. And I didn't get the French book because I do not know French. And I placed a third order and paid way too much for this book. But I honestly don't even care that I overpaid because it was so fucking good. I have already read this one. I will talk to you guys fully about it in my wrap up, but just know that I gave it 5 stars. Jennifer Hillier really can do no wrong in my eyes. I'm literally like thirst commenting on her Instagram now, not like thirsting over her, but thirsting over her books. I'm like,
oh my God, not my favorite author looking gorge today.
Like, I don't know. I'm just like, Jen, notice me. Like, I love her books so much. And if you're looking for something very creepy Halloween, this is perfect. It's mostly a thriller, but there are definitely parts of this book that feel like total 100% horror vibes. If you're looking for a horror book that like takes place at a carnival or a fair, this is like an amusement park, I think you would love it. Also, we see characters from previous Jennifer Hillier novels that just like make a cameo in this book. You don't have to read them in any certain order, but if you have read her earlier books before getting to this one, it's kind of cool to see your favorite characters, or at least my favorite characters, come back for a little cameo in this book. It was so good, so thrilling, highly recommend. My next random Amazon purchase was because of Jackie, one of my good gal pals here on BookTube, and that is The Arrangement by Kirsten Mogslin. And listen, Jackie just sold me this book in her reading vlog. She had a reading vlog where she read this and she gave it 5 stars. She was obsessed with it. So I had to read it too. Usually our thriller taste aligns like super, super well, like almost perfectly. So I really trust her thriller recommendations and I had to give this one a try. This is a very short, teeny tiny I would say almost novella. It's only 200 pages. And it is a domestic thriller about a married couple. Y'all know that shit that I like. And this married couple has decided to open up their marriage and create this arrangement to add a little bit more spice because they see themselves kind of going down a dark road. They want to revamp the passion and they decide to just date a new person every week. They don't talk about the dates. They don't talk about what goes on. They just get their own little outside the marriage satisfaction and come home to husband. What's happening to me? They come home to husband and wife and everything should be fine again, right? Well, obviously it doesn't work out that way. And the whole premise is like, do you really know who you married? There's dark secrets and lies and mistrust, which is just everything that I love. So sounds perfect. Next up, we have Survivor by J.F. Gonzalez. And I have heard so much hype about this book from one specific person, and that is Mike. And I just recently subscribed to his channel. I discovered him from Gabby's horror recommendation live show, and I became obsessed with him. I binged all his videos after that live show because I'm like,
I think this person needs to be my best friend.
So I will link his channel down below. Please go check him out, especially if you like dark, disturbing books like me. And that's why you're here on this channel. You will definitely get some gory, disgusting, depraved recommendations from Mike. So yeah, please go check him out. I absolutely love his channel. And he was raving about this on Gabby's live show and said that it is more disturbing than Pretty Girls. And if you're a fan of Pretty Girls, you need to read Survivor. Well, we all know that Pretty Girls is my whole entire brand. That's like what people know me for, is being obsessed with Karen Slaughter. So I have to give this one a try. And he was saying like the disturbingness is to a point that even Karen would not go to. And I feel that Karen goes pretty far. So I'm excited to check this one out. It follows another married couple. The husband and wife are like going on this romantic getaway, but they get pulled over and the husband gets arrested like on the way to their trip. So she's just like,
okay, like I'll go by myself then. Hope you have fun in jail, hee hee.
And then when she gets to this hotel, I don't know if she's like kidnapped or what. Yeah, she gets kidnapped and they want to make her star in a snuff film, which if you read Pretty Girls, you know that's like one of the, not tropes, themes in Pretty Girls is like snuff films. And if you don't know what a snuff film is, it's basically a porn where a woman is tortured and murdered at the end. So I'm trying to whisper so the algorithm doesn't say demonetized. But yeah, it's very dark, very disturbing, and it's about how this woman endures going through the snuff film process and hopefully survives. I guess she's gonna survive. It's literally called Survivor, but she has to do all of this depraved, horrible stuff to survive. I'm very excited for this. I kind of want to drop all my October TBR plans and just read this, but I'm not gonna do that because I did that the last 2 months and I'm not gonna do it again. I need to stick to a TBR. Next up, another Amazon impulse purchase was Blonde Hair, Blue Eyes by Karen Slaughter, and this is the prequel novella to Pretty Girls, my favorite book that I won't shut the fuck up about. And I'm still not gonna shut the fuck up about it because this was so good. Another 5-star. If you wanna hear like my full in-depth review, I will link the wrap up from last month where I read this and I talk about it in detail. You guys know I love it. I'm not gonna spend any more time on it. And the last couple things that I impulse bought off of Amazon because I literally cannot find these books anywhere else. I was trying not to buy from Amazon, but I couldn't find them anywhere, okay? That would be Creep and Freak, the follow-up to Creep by Jennifer Hillier. Again, I read these last month as soon as I bought them because I just couldn't wait to get into them. I absolutely loved both of them. They're in the same wrap up if you want the full thoughts. Now let's get into some random Barnes & Noble purchases. I never go to Barnes & Noble. I don't have that kind of money. The people who do like Barnes & Noble hauls, I'm like, okay, So you exposing yourself as rich. Like, I don't know who can shop there. Like, personally, I love books. Y'all see, I have a house full of fucking books. None of them are from Barnes & Noble. She's a little too bougie for me. But I did stop in there because I had some extra money laying around and I knew that I wanted like the nice hardcover brand new editions of these new releases, and the first one is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. I feel like this book is perfect for the fall season and I'm so excited to get to it. I love Samantha Downing's writing style in My Lovely Wife, and so I'm excited to read more from her. And this is kind of a dark academia thriller. It takes place at this prestigious private school, and this professor is kind of like this hotshot guy. He got Teacher of the Year, but people are being a little sus about him because his wife, nobody's heard from her in quite a while, and everyone thinks that maybe he murdered her. And just reading the inside flap, the voice of the main character sounds a lot like Joe Goldberg. Like, he really can't be bothered with a few mysterious deaths on campus that are looking more and more like murder, or the student digging a little too deep into his personal life. His main focus is pushing these kids to their full academic potential. All he wants is for his colleagues and endlessly meddlesome parents to stay out of his way. If not, well, they'll get what they deserve. So I feel like we're gonna be following the perspective of a serial killer who is this like prestigious professor. It sounds like such good fall vibes. I'm so excited for this one. And on that same trip, the other book that I got was False Witness by Karen Slaughter. Of course, how can I not get my queen's new release with the deckled edges? Karen always does me right with these deckled edges. All her standalones with like the hardback have deckled edges, and I just love her. Also, yes, I did in fact get the exclusive edition. I don't know what that means, but it makes me feel good. So this is a Karen Slaughter standalone. You do not have to read any of her previous books to understand the plot of this one. It follows a defense attorney, as always, and her friend calls her up one day and says, hey, I have a client for you. You need to defend this guy. He's requesting you by name. So she shows up to meet this guy who's accused of, I think, multiple counts of like brutal rape, and she realizes that she knows who he is and he knows who she is, and that's why he requested her, because there's some like shady shit from her past, like past trauma that he was involved in, that he knows about with her. So now she has a lot more to lose if she doesn't represent him, and she's going to be forced to represent this like horrible human being. I'm sure it's gonna go off the rails. I'm very excited for this. Also, if somehow you haven't heard yet, I am co-hosting a live show for Gabby's book club in November about False Witness. We're just going to be talking about the book troop's book pick for November, which is False Witness, obviously, on her channel at some point when she announces when the live show will be. Obviously, I will put it out on all my social media, so make sure you follow me to keep up with that and know when our live show is. And I'm super excited to discuss this book and just honored that Gabby would have me on her channel, so get excited for it. I definitely am. All right, the next category is going to be books I randomly impulse bought while grocery shopping. And this, believe it or not, is a common thing for me. The first book here I got at Costco. I literally ran in for croissants, ravioli, and wine. I was like, listen, give me the carbs and the alcohol. And while I was there, I'm like,
Okay, should we just check out the books?
and I did, and I saw The Therapist by B.A. Paris, so you know I had to get it. B.A. Paris has been very, very, very hit or miss. She wrote one of my favorite thrillers ever, Behind Closed Doors, but also has written a few duds that I gave like 1 and 2 stars. So we will see about The Therapist. Obviously, y'all know, or maybe you don't, maybe you're new here. Hi, hello, welcome. I am a therapist myself, so that is like my full-time gig. So I'm very excited to see what this is all about and if the therapy/ethics rep is accurate at all. This follows a couple who moves into a new house, and when they meet their neighbors, they find out about something that happened in their house before they moved in regarding the therapist who lived there before them, and the wife starts to feel this connection to the therapist, and things unravel from there. It's a thriller, it's a domestic thriller. Obviously, y'all know I love that shit. It's British, so you know I'm down for it. These next two I impulse bought while I was picking up random things like dog food and Windex at Target. And the first one is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is the 4th book in the Truly Devious series. I think it's also like a standalone. It's kind of like the 4th companion novel to the Truly Devious trilogy. So I don't think you have to read Truly Devious to understand this, but it does like help if you like already know the characters. You'll probably feel more connected. And obviously you guys know I really liked the Truly Devious trilogy, so I had to pick this one up. I'm going to read it for Spooktober and for Camp Weekend Ween, 2 readathons that I'm participating in this month of October. So very excited to get to this. It follows a mystery that teenagers are trying to solve at a summer camp. Also at Target, actually, whoa, the exclusive Target prologue. I got Such a Quiet Place by Megan Miranda. Megan Miranda is also a very hit or miss thriller author for me, but this one sounds like right up my alley. It's a domestic suburban thriller where all the white rich moms are like staring out their windows and spying on each other. I just think that shit is the most entertaining thing ever. So I'm very excited to get to this one. It follows a woman who was like falsely accused, allegedly falsely accused of murder, who like lived in this little town, and then obviously she gets off of the murder charge and moves back into the town, and everyone's gossiping about her, and things go from there. Now let's get into my recent book of the month picks. This month for October, I actually skipped. There was just nothing that was really calling my name. I am interested in the X-Hex, but I have the audio, so I don't really need the physical book. But here's my previous month's picks. For September, I got Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I'm so happy I did because I've been hearing a lot of hype about this book. Apparently, it's like the perfect winter, fall, atmospheric, isolated thriller. As you can see from the cover, it's like very snowy, and I've loved every single book that I've read from Alice Feeney, so I'm very confident I'm gonna love this one. I'm saving it for when it gets a little colder in Texas because it's still 85 degrees right now and it's fall. I mean, honestly, 85 degrees like feels good for me. Like, obviously you can see I'm like wearing a jacket and I like walk outside and I'm like,
Ooh, a chilly breeze.
so when like most people would be dying of sweat, but it's fine. So I'm definitely gonna save this for when it's a little bit colder outside and I can like sit on my patio in the crisp air and wrap myself in a blanket and read about this snowy location. This also is a thriller that follows a married couple. Their life is on the rocks and they're trying to save their marriage, and they go on this snowy, isolated retreat, and they find out that they've been deceiving each other. There's been lies, there's been deception, there has been mistrust, and things go wild from there. I try not to give a lot of in-depth synopsis for these thrillers because number one, I don't want to know a lot about them before I read them, and number two, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos recently where I feel like people spoil the like first initial couple twists in thrillers, and it's been getting on my nerves. So I really am not trying to do that for y'all. And of course, as an add-on, I got The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell, and I know y'all are thinking, Hailey, if not Karen Slaughter, if not Jennifer Hillier, it's Lisa Jewell for you, right? She's like one of my favorite authors ever. I love every single one of her books.
Except for The Family Upstairs.
But that's fine. You're probably wondering, why haven't I read this book yet? And it's because I'm scared. I'm scared. I always do this. Like, I get my favorite authors' books immediately when they come out because I'm so excited. And then I look at them and I'm like,
what if you're not a 5-star? Oh, can't do that. I'll just go read a random 3-star thriller because that's safe.
like, this feels like there's high stakes. Some people criticize me for absolutely loving Lisa Jewell, and I get scared. I get scared to read this and then say it's a 5-star and then everyone hate me. So I'm very nervous, but I just know I'm gonna love it, but then I have to talk about how I love it and then people will maybe be mean to me. So that's why I haven't read this yet. But it follows a missing girl and she's a teen mom. So I think there's gonna be themes of like generational things because she lives with her grandmother. So the girl who goes missing's mother was also a teen mom and she's not in the picture. Now she lives with her grandmother and she was a teen mom and she has a child and the grandmother's watching her child and she goes missing and the grandma and the kid are like, what the fuck, where is this girl? And I don't really want to know more than that. So moving on. And the month before, what was that, August? My August book of the month pick, which I don't think I've showed you guys yet or hauled on my channel yet, is The Heart Principle by Helen Huang, and I was super excited to get into this book. I was going to include it in my romance reading vlog, which I just posted like a few days ago. I'll link it if you missed it, but I ended up not getting to this one in that video because a lot of people said that this one was really heavy, and after all the Karen Slaughter I've been reading, I did not want to read another heavy, sad book. I needed some light, fluffy romance, and apparently this is not that. So I decided to push it off for a later time. But this book follows our main character who went viral on YouTube, which I think that's a really cool inclusion in the book. But she is with this long-term boyfriend and things are getting stale and they decide to open up their relationship to having one-night stands. She has a one-night stand with this dangerous bad boy who like has tattoos and wears leather and like rides a motorcycle. And she's like,
oh my god, I would never be with anyone like this.
But then their one-night stand turns into like something more and she realizes that he's like actually a sweetheart. So it's the story of their love. I really want to get to this eventually, but I don't know when I will have the like capacity to handle it because I try to save all the heaviness and darkness that I can handle for my intense graphic thrillers, and I turn to romance for like some light reprieve from that. So I don't know when this is gonna fit in, but I love Helen Huang's other books, so I will get to it eventually. The next few books are just random half-price books, clearance pickups. The first one is The Chalkman by CJ Tudor, and this just sounded like very, very Halloween vibes. I'm probably not gonna get to it this Halloween, but maybe I will get to it in the fall. I also have The Other People by CJ Tudor, so I was thinking like a taste test reading vlog with both of those might be fun. I've never read anything from CJ Tudor, so might try them out. This one follows a dual timeline, I think, in 1986 and 2016. So it's when this main character was a little boy and him and his friends were like playing about, and one of their little childhood signals, I guess, that they like give each other was this little like chalk stick figure, and they called it the Chalkman. It's like how they communicated with each other, like they'll go draw one on their driveway if they're wanting their friend to like come out and play or something. And one day they get this trail of Chalkmans leading to a dead teenage girl, just her body in the forest. And so obviously that's very traumatizing for these little children. And now our main character is reliving that when he gets a drawn Chalkman in the mail and these murders are starting up again. Sounds so good. I mean, I don't know how I haven't tried CJ Tudor yet, just based on that premise. It sounds a lot like Alex North. I have his books back there and I love that. So very excited to get to this one eventually. On that same trip, I also got the Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that name. I probably butchered it. This is a light, fluffy, heartwarming romance with autism rep, and I've heard a lot of great things. So when I saw it in the clearance section, I was like, you know what? Might as well pick it up, and I did. Along the same vein, I picked up Evie Drake Starts Over. another clearance pick. And this follows Evie Drake in the wake of her husband's death. And she's dealing with grief and she's trying to get back out there. It's supposed to be like inspiring, heartwarming, fluffy. Again, I have a lot of dark stuff, so I'm gonna need this kind of stuff. And on that same trip, I picked up The Escape Room by Megan Golden. So I've already read like 10 to 20% of this book and DNF'd it. But I'm doing a vlog, you've probably heard me talk about this before, where I want to try again the books that I have previously DNF'd. I want to do like a second chance reading vlog. So I got her on clearance and I'm gonna give her another try. It follows these like corporate America workers, which is really not interesting to me, but and they're doing like this corporate bonding escape room. They go into this escape room and they realize it's not, you know, for fun. It's not corporate sanctioned, it's not kosher, and they end up getting trapped in this escape room and trying to survive. And the last few books I have here, I thrifted, and these are the kind of books that I love because they're in very rough condition. But I love books in rough condition. I love to give them a new life and a new home. So the first one of those is, look at this damaged, crusty book. I love it. It is What Alice Forgot by Liane Moriarty, and it follows the story of Alice when she thinks she's like loving her life, amazing, and then she wakes up and realizes that she's lost 10 years of her life. She's been in a coma or something, and she has to kind of figure out where her life is, what has happened in the years that she lost, and why this memory lapse occurred. I don't think she was in a coma. I think I was wrong. I think she like has a memory thing. So I love amnesia thrillers. I love Liane Moriarty's writing. Very excited for it. I also found Velocity by Dean Koontz at a random Savers when I was buying crusty t-shirts to sleep in. So this was a fun surprise. This is one of my like real life friends' favorite books of all time. So I'm very excited to get into it. I love reading people that are not in the bookish community. I love reading their favorite books because they're not influenced, right? They don't have these book influencers being like, read this and hyping this shit up. She just picked this shit up and she liked it. And this book sounds amazing just based on the premise. This guy gets a note and it says this: if you don't take this note to the police, I will kill a lovely blonde school teacher. If you do take this note to the police, I will instead kill an elderly woman active in charity work. You have 6 hours to decide. The choice is yours. He doesn't do anything, and a school teacher is murdered, and he has another note and another deadline. This time he knows it's no joke. He's racing a killer faster than evil itself, and Billy must accept this terrifying challenge. The choice is yours. I'm so excited for this. Like, does that not sound so good and so fast paced? I'm living. And for $1.99, go off Savers. And finally, I picked up The Unraveling of Cassidy Holmes at a random Goodwill. She is crusty, she is dusty, she is busted, but I love her for it. And honestly, I don't know really what this book is about. I feel like it's giving me Daisy Jones and the Six. Yeah, okay, so it follows Cassidy Holmes, who is part of the pop group Sassy Gloss. And she's giving like Britney, she's giving Christina, and the group broke up in 2002. And at the center of it all was Sassy Cassie, the Texan with the signature smirk that had everyone falling for her hook, line, and sinker, but now she's dead from suicide, and the world is reeling. Told in multiple perspectives, including Cassidy's, through different times. This is a behind-the-scenes look into the rise and fall of a pop icon. So it sounds very much like Daisy Jones and the Six, but like Y2K and 90s vibes, and I'm living for that. So those are all of the books that I have hauled recently in the past few months that I haven't showed you yet. I hope you liked seeing them, and if you did like this video, go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!